All right. It's Wednesday. It is 4 o'clock. It is 2021. How you doing? Alrighty. Let's see. Now I gotta go for a jump over to VMix here. Alright. Slowing down the music. Alright. Karate chop it is. I'm actually using that in a documentary. So, alright. So I hate it when like people put a post on the title of their video and then they don't ever talk about the topic, called Trolling the Audience. So, what is the name of the topic? Oh shoot. What did I say it was? Rigel 7 was here. Rigel 7 was here, already used. How you doing? It is with an H. Hi, super cartoonist. Okay, the topic today I have how to make money as a filmmaker or a content creator. Now, the reason why I picked this topic was because somebody on the last stream left a message or comment asking me to talk about this particular topic about raising money. So I'm going to talk about the very, very essence of filmmaking, how to make money as a filmmaker or content creator. Now keep in mind, what I'm about to say here doesn't apply if you're not trying to make money, which is a completely viable thing to do. I don't want to give you the impression that if you aren't trying to make money as a filmmaker or trying to make money with your films, that you're somehow doing it wrong, or somehow you're less important or less, promising or whatever. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you want to make money, this is the basics of how to do it. And like I said in the description, most of you are probably going to be very disappointed in what I have to say, because I'm going to give you a very, very basic ground level understanding of how to make money as a filmmaker. Enough teasing it. Let's get to it. So in order to make money as a filmmaker, and frankly this applies almost to every market, you need two things. You need to create value, and you need to match the supplier with the buyer. Now those two things are very, very important. Now let's talk about the first thing, which is create value. You need to make a product that someone else wants to buy. And that someone else, it could be general audience members, so you can be making a movie that you have an audience that will want to buy. And that's a way to make money. You can create value as a filmmaker if you are, say, a DP and you're very good at lighting with very limited resources. So you hook up with a producer who's making a movie, and you provide your value as a DP to the producer filmmaker. That's a way to make money. Another way is to provide value as if you're making commercials for a company. If you want to make a documentary for, say, a nonprofit. I've done a lot of the nonprofits myself. So if you want to I make videos for nonprofits, they show at galas and they raise more money. So I provide value to the nonprofit. So any way you can create value. Now another thing I want to point out when it comes to value is that a lot of people don't seem to understand that the value is not necessarily, in your perspective, the video or movie or whatever. It's the perspective of the buyer. So people will say, like, how can PewDiePie go out there and make these horrendous videos? How come he makes all that value? How come he makes so much money doing that? And my videos, which are so much clearly better made, aren't getting the same attention. We'll get to the second point in a second. But the reason is PewDiePie is providing value to his audience. His audience gets value out of what he does. And frankly, I personally like PewDiePie. I think he's kind of a funny character. He's an interesting character as far as the YouTube space goes. I have no problem with PewDiePie. I think he deserves the stuff that he gets, right? So value is in the eyes of the beholder, in the eyes of the buyer. Now, the second part, which is the killer part, which I think nobody talks about, is you need to match the buyer and the supplier. That's like the hardest thing to get, because the problem is, I think a lot of people that work in film, they don't understand how that relationship works. How do you get the buyer and the supplier? How do you get the buyers and the suppliers to meet in the first place? And that's the trick. Again, going back to the PewDiePie example, Like you say, if you're going out there, you're making your own stream videos, you're making your own, let's play videos, but they're not getting viewed. It's because you're not being matched with the people that want to watch it. And that's a very difficult thing. That's when that comes down to the YouTube algorithm. That you hear so many people talking about how the YouTube algorithm screws them, because the YouTube algorithm is trying to match buyers and suppliers, right? So that's the biggest problem. And so now let's go back to the filmmaking. So let's get away from YouTube for a little second. So as a filmmaker, you have to find your audience. You can make the greatest movie in the world. If nobody knows about it, then nobody will buy it. Like, it's not what, like, the worst thing that people get in their heads is that line from Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. No, they won't. No, they won't. That's the biggest thing, the hurdle in every filmmaker. Like, everyone that asks me, how do I make money from filmmaking? How do I make my... That's the hurdle. It's not that if you build it, they will come. You have to make them come in the first place. All right, you have to get them. You have to get eyeballs first, and that's why companies pay a lot of money for advertising, because companies also realize that they, if I'm trying to sell you a product, if I'm trying to sell you this microphone, the microphone company, obviously people, can Google microphone companies, but they need to get the microphone product in front of eyeballs, and they need to match supply. They need to match their buyers with the supplier, right? The same thing with movies. If you don't, so I think, okay, backing up here. So I think the thing that's most hard for filmmakers to understand, because they spend all their time worrying about creating value. And let's face it, you have to create value. But you have to remember that the value is in the eye of the buyer. And the second part is you have to match the buyer with what you're offering. And that's like the hardest thing. That's why celebrities get paid so much, because if you make a movie, you're like, if you've ever been like Hollywood Boulevard, maybe not Hollywood Boulevard, I don't know if if you guys have been to LA. If you've been to like Hollywood Boulevard in front of the Chinese theater, there's always some dude like, hey, check out my demo album. He's handing out his own album because he needs to get like I forget what my point was with that. I'm kind of thrown off a little bit here, but anyhow, I'm flummoxed here because honestly I've been working on my studio trying to rebuild the set, get everything going, but I forget what my point was going with that was. I guess that you have to try to. I mean, it's so hard to get eyeballs. It's so hard to get eyeballs. So anyhow, that's the hardest thing. So somebody was asking me. I think we're talking. Oh, that's what we're talking about, celebrities, right? Celebrities. Why do celebrities get paid so much? Because they bring eyeballs, and that's the second key. Like you need to match buyer with supplier. Anyhow, I hope that's coming across. If you guys are understanding what I'm saying here. So, as a filmmaker, as a content creator, what do? I mean, okay, the point I was trying to make. Now, going back to the top of my thinking. This is a lot of, I use these lives. This is a live stream. This is like a therapy session. This is not necessarily a completely written out script. I don't write these out because I wanted to make them fresh and get these ideas out, and then maybe later I'll go back and do a proper video on this. But so, supplier to eyeball. How suppliers and buyers. How do you create that? Well, first of all, you need to cultivate an audience, and that's like the biggest thing in the 2000s and beyond is going to be cultivating the audience, right? I think we're beyond the old days where we used to have 5 major studios. We used to have 3 major network television channels, and they were the gatekeepers essentially of popular culture. And then you worked for them. They had the eyeballs. They had the marketplace between the buyer and the seller. That's the conduit. And nowadays, with the internet, with the rise of independent publishing, whatever you can name, YouTube, Twitch, live stream, Patreon. Check out our Patreon. Everything in the world, right? Now, more than ever, it's like you have to cultivate the audience. And I think a lot of people when you listen to like a lot of the older school kind of celebrities, and even some of the people talking on blog or on video blogs and stuff like that, what kind of bugs me is you guys don't realize how hard that is. Not you guys in the audience. I'm talking about the people that are like have already made it, right? You don't realize how hard it is to get an audience. It's so hard to get an audience. Like I was watching a video yesterday about this. Some cinematographer made this video channel, and he was dissecting the look of a show, and I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad, but it's like he doesn't have an audience because he hasn't cultivated the product is decent, but the audience isn't there. And I feel like blessed that I have somewhat of an audience. You guys, there's at least 50 people watching this, 80 people now watching this, so I have a little bit of an audience. Cultivating the audience is basically going forward how you're going to have to create money, because you need to create that marketplace between the buyer and the supplier. So I think what I'll do is be more straightforward and answer the guy's question that commented on the last video, which was, how do I make money with my short films? And my original answer is, how do you make money on short films? My answer is, you don't. There's no way to make money on short films. But then I thought about some more, and I realized, of course there's ways to make money. You have to find the buyer for the short film. That's how you make money. You have to make a product that's of value, and you have to find a buyer that wants to buy it. So I think I just came down to in my head just figured out the point I was trying to make. In order to make money, you have to create value, and you have to find a buyer. And then you have to marry those together. And that's how you make money. It's as simple as that. Only it's not simple. It's incredibly hard. So his question was like, does Netflix buy shorts? And the answer is no. No, they don't. Because Netflix is also in the job of trying to find, they're in the market of matching buyers to suppliers. And if you don't have any eyeballs, if you have no, if you don't bring to the table like an audience, Netflix is like, well, what do we care about you? Because Netflix is not like this gatekeeper that has, like ABC, that we have only a certain number of hours to fill, and people are going to be watching regardless of what we're doing, so we need to fill a time slot. Netflix can do whatever. You have to have an audience basically going into to get a Netflix deal. You have to have an audience to go into your Prime, any kind of streaming deal. It's like you need some sort of audience. You need to bring some sort of value, or some eyeballs with you. So that's my whole spiel on the how to make money as a filmmaker, content creator. I'm sorry, it's probably very, very disappointing for a lot of you guys, I'm sure. So yeah, that's my thing. So the rest of the time, I figure we'll just hang out and chat. I've been talking for 12 minutes. That actually took 12 minutes to talk about this. And I still don't feel like I got my point across quite properly. I'll just jump. I'll show you. See, I'm improving my value here, right? I'm going to jump to you and show a comment here. Oh boy, let's go into vMix here and pop it up. Ooh, there you go. Yes, distribution is democratized with the available outlets online. You can go to YouTube, probably pitch Amazon for, and it cuts off the rest of the video, rest of the comment. Dang it! So we have to. That's not quite working the way I wanted to. I wanted to see more of that comment. Anyhow, let's go through some of your chats and see what you guys are saying here. Mindo says the video stream is a bit choppy. I don't know why that is. Oh, dang it! My let's put it up there. My ATEM Mini is deciding to behave a little bit funny. No, it's going back. It's weird. I got everything going at 30 frames a second today, so I don't know what's going on. It's YouTube. It's live. What do you expect? What do you want? All right, let's go over to another chat here. We got Rigel7 was already used. I interviewed Red Green once, and he said something similar. Basically, that he said that CBC picked up the Red Green show, and they weren't. Oh man, they're not showing me the whole thing. This stinking thing. And said they weren't buying him. They were buying his audience. Yeah. So when you talk about like a Netflix show, I wonder. I'm rendering something in Resolve, and I wonder if that's probably why it's like being funky today. Well, I don't want to cancel this render because it's already been going for an hour, and it's like going to take a while. But right, yeah, when these, I mean, ABC, NBC, back in those days when they were the big giant channels, they had a little more of a concrete audience. The same thing with the movie studios back when the movie studios owned the theaters too. You know, because the movie theater owned this theater and it would just show whatever fare that was on. Was you go to movies and you just watch whatever was there. You didn't really care. You didn't. I mean, there were movies that were draws that you would go to see, but a lot of times movies were just, you know, like. Think of movies in the 40s and the 50s as more like television. You would just go to the movie theater, you pay your money, and then you just sit there and you watch this bill of fare, right? That's the way movie theaters were back in those days. So it's a little bit different. Today, you know, that's the big kind of thing. The people don't realize with the democratization of media creation tools. So we have, you know, everybody can make really quality content these days. There's nothing stopping you, really. I mean, if you have a little bit of cash to spend, you can make a Hollywood level production. Well, you know, within forgiven certain aspects, you can't do, like, you can't have helicopter shots and, well, you can have drone shots, but anyhow, you get my point. The problem with that is now that everybody can make a movie, it's not special anymore. So, like, if you look at 70s independent film, it's like very rough tumble. That stuff would never fly these days because the quality is not that good. And nowadays anybody can make a film, so now the market is flooded with films. Therefore, it's even ironically harder to be successful with a film today than it was in, let's say, 1965. There's a rotating circle on my face, says Meryl. Well, that's not good. We don't want that. Let's go back to the chat here. All right, let's go to this question here. Raviki Rai, so how are we supposed to do that without getting too in the weeds of the YouTube out? How do you create an audience? That's a great question. And it's a question that honestly has an answer that's like very, very hard to even come up with. How do you get an audience? Well, again, so I can tell you on YouTube how I derived an audience with Filmmaker IQ. And that was basically I put out videos at a time when this kind of talk about, you know, creating videos and filmmaking, we started putting on the videos it was kind of later toward the beginning of when a lot of people were just starting to democratize content, like right when I started putting stuff out, like right tail end of the DSL revolution. So I was able to kind of catch a little bit of that wave. And then back in those days, you know, we would be cross posted on different blogs. And that kind of helped boost the subscribership, you know. And then once you start getting a little bit of an audience, YouTube's like, hey, this guy's got a little bit of an audience. Let's put some more people. And then so they start, you know, it starts kind of snowballing a little bit. Now, how do you create an audience today? I don't know. I mean, you can probably do something similar. I think there's still some social medias like Reddit that might be, if you're doing a very specific topic. Like I'm thinking cooking with Babish. Babish, I don't really watch his stuff, but I've seen a couple of them, and they look fantastic, and they're fun. So I imagine he probably created his audience by just creating content for serving his audience. You know, serving his the foodies that wanted to watch how to cook. You know, if you keep doing that, he's got a big Reddit presence. So if you push on a certain social media platform, you can build your audience that way. So again, and this comes to like every single genre of filmmaking or content creation. I don't want to be specific and say filmmaking because like I don't want to talk just strictly about feature films, you know. But as far as feature films go, I think again I have a hard time telling you guys because I struggle with like how would I make a feature film? Like I might try to monetize the audience that I have here, and that is good for a little bit, but it's not going to be enough to to really push forward. Honestly, with feature films, it's like you have to bite the bullet and say, I'm going to do this for the art. And I don't intend to make a lot of money on this. You know, you can't unless you manage to find, you know, like a patron, literally a patron, not just Patreon, patron, or use Patreon, I guess, if you got an idea that's has a massive appeal. I was just watching Kung Fury the other day because somebody on Reddit posted it and it just floated to the top. I was watching it again. Unless you have like a massive, you know, appeal audio, something where you can like crowdsource the hell out of it, you can do it that way. But other than that, like feature films, it's like you kind of have to do it as a passion project for a while. And it, unless you find a patron with a lot of money, and then you can get yourself a celebrity, and the celebrity can kind of bring in more money, and then that can kind of get a studio interested, in case that's a way to do it, or you can go the studio route and just put the film to the studio, All right, Super Cartoonist has a question. Super chat, thank you for that. And here we go. How much would it cost for you to start a Discord group? Like cost me out of my pocket to start a Discord group? I'm thinking about Discord. The thing is, I don't understand how Discord works. That's the problem. Like, I have a friend that has Discord. My friend Joe that's on this show. So I don't even quite understand how Discord works. But I would like to. I mean, I think I would like to start one. I just don't know how it really works. Like, I can never figure out. Like, what are you supposed to do with it? Is it like a text chat? Is it like a voice thing? Like, is it just like a kind of community thing and that kind of thing? I don't know. So just jump over to an older comment here. And Hami says, I'm 14 looking for an actor, but no one wants to join. What should I do? Oh, I know. I hate this feeling, man. You're 14 years old. This is so hard. I already made a film alone. Yeah, the fact that, well, right now, pandemic wise, if you're not in a pandemic area, then good for you, and you can probably go back to making films. But I'm in California, and they just halted all the productions and all that. So that is unfortunately not even an option here in California. But as far as like being 14 and looking for actors it's so tricky, dude. It's so tricky. Like, I've had, and when I was 14 and 15, 16, 17, making films, it was like, you get your actors together, but they would like disappear, that's a problem. So what I would recommend, I have tried to kind of bridge the gap over to working with theater folks. Problem with theater folks is theater and filmmaking are not even closely related. Well, they're close. They're related. It's like your fifth removed cousin. Acting for theater and acting for stage. And I'm not talking about like the actual nitpicky things, although we can get into that. But like theater acting and film, the people, like even the actors themselves don't really talk to each other. And I'm sure, and I know, like if you get to the higher level of acting, a lot of celebrities that do theater on the side, do a couple weeks of theater here and there to stay sharp. But the problem is, like, a lot of people in theater classes that do theater like as a hobby, they do theater as a hobby, and they're not really in it for acting. They're in it for being around a certain group of people and hanging out. And my God, those people in theater, like, they put so many hours into it. It's like their second home. It really is. They spend 4 hours a day with these people every single day during their week, and they probably have a regular job on top of that. So when it comes to, they're not really into film jobs. Like, film acting is very different in that you're sitting around most of the time, and then you're acting like a very brief window. And then you're sitting around for the whole. So it's a totally different, like, animal as far as theater acting. So anyhow, but maybe I'm the odd man. Maybe I'm the odd man out. You can find somebody in your theater class that might want to experiment with some film. It's like a drug dealer. Like, hey, want to come experiment with some film? Want to come experiment with some filmmaking? Mondo, let's get you. Let your comment up there. I'm trying out this thing so I can actually see the comments in later pre-plays. Mindo says, "Do you get people asking for stills after shooting a video, even if it's not in the contract?" I generally, I do and don't. The nice thing about 4K though is that 4K you can actually pull a still from 4K and get a pretty decent little still out of it. So. I don't usually get it, but if you pull a still from, to me, if you pull a still from a video, I don't, unless you're asked to do a whole lot more. It's like, I would just do it. But then again, I'm not huge on the contracts. I would rather have a happy client and offer a little bit more. Hey, I guess we can talk about that. I would rather have a happy client than to be super legalese, like this is exactly what the contract says and I'm not budging a bit from it. And part of that is charging more money. Like, when you undersell, when you you scrape the bottom of how much you charge for videos, if you're at the bottom, then you're penny pinching everything. Like, but if you're charging a healthy portion, and let's say, hey, you want to buy another audio track, it doesn't matter, right? Because you're charging enough to cover yourself plus, some other expenses, so you have that padding. But if you're like super, super cheap, if you want to still, not in my contract, oh come on, just do a screen still grab. It's not that big a deal. Anyhow. All right, let's see. Hey, Georgie, nice to see you online. Let's see here. Cancel. Let's see what else comments do we have here. Here we go. Here's another comment. Let's jump to that. Kendrick Harris. This is my last time asking. Just want to know, what do you think about mobile filmmaking? I think I talked about this last time, didn't I? Maybe you weren't here last time. So, mobile filmmaking. I'm not a fan. I don't care for it. Like, look, here's the deal. Like, I don't know why, like, it's weird that everyone, like, wants you to use the tools that they use, right? Like, I love the C200, I think everybody should buy it. I think everybody should use it. Like, if mobile filmmaking works for you, then what do you care what I have to say? Honestly, I would not be caught dead using mobile filmmaking. Not in a effing second. However, if I'm in a location where, like, I have to get something, like I actually did this one time, and and hopefully they won't be upset with me, but I was tasked to go out and shoot some traffic. And I got out there with my camera, my tripod, and everything was ready to go, but my batteries were completely dead. And I guess they had drained out. I didn't realize it. I'm like, crap. So I got my phone out and I shot it. Because I was there, I already had to get it. I shot it with my phone, and they used it because it was just in a PowerPoint presentation. Didn't need to be that super quality. So that's fine. But would I ever purposely go out and shoot with something on a mobile phone? No. Not in a million years. Yeah, and I realized, somebody else is saying someone who made Tangerine on a phone. Sure. What did he make his next movie out on? What camera did he use on his next movie? Which I believe was the Florida Project. I believe it was his follow-up movie. That wasn't made on a cell phone. Look, I get it. If all you have is a cell phone, knock yourself out. Use it. Use whatever you have access to, period. Don't worry, if it's a cell phone, don't be like, so what? It's a cell phone. Use it. If you only have a DSLR, use it. If you only have a C200, use it. If you only have an Arri Alexa, that's all you have, I don't know, dude. Yeah, use it. All right, let's go jump to this comment here. This is about pricing. Let's talk about some money. For video actors, crew pricing, how do you find out the market rate? Whoa, my chair's going crazy. This thinking thing. I am going back. Hey, Ed Costico's online. How you doing, Ed? Video, how do you go about finding the market rate, establishing a price? Good question. Part of the way to do a price is to poll other people. Is to go ahead and poll, what other people are charging. And sometimes you be a mystery shopper, and just call up your video production and say, hey, what do you guys charge? Realistically, what you should do if you're starting out is contact like another video production company and be like, hey, I want to work with you guys. And then start working with them and start developing a relationship with them and then figuring out what they charge, and then don't undercut them. Charge the same thing. I mean, you can undercut them if you're offering substantially less, if you're offering less, services, right? It's just like, one thing I hated when I was kind of, younger, I guess, I was working with a buddy of mine, and we worked for the cable company, and he got laid off from the cable company, and he and I wanted to go after clients, take them from the cable company, because the cable company wasn't doing a good job, retaining clients. They had like 11-week turnaround for a commercial. Like 11 weeks. Are you effing kidding me for a 30-second local ad? Ugh. Anyhow, so And at the time, we were charging like $1,200. The cable company was charging $1,200 a commercial. And he said, let's undercut the cable company. And I thought, why? We are delivering better service, and we are being more, we turn things around a whole lot faster, and we want to be cheaper? At least get the $1,200. At least hit the same price. If the cable companies, and anyhow, so that's how I would establish some going rates. You have to be careful with going rates. Don't realize too that going rate is sometimes what they say. They say a going rate is the going out of business rate, because if you charge too low, you're not going to be around very long. It sucks. Anyhow, we got super chat from Chucky's Chicken Official. Chucky Chicken Official. Wow, I'm probably going to have to read this out loud, but we'll put you on screen. I'm a short-time fan. Oh, wonderful. Curious about any advice for up-and-coming traditional animators. Oh, awesome. It's expensive, super rewarding. Everyone wants it. No one wants to buy it. Any advice? Oh, my God. Yeah, dude, that's a tough one, because I have actually been getting myself into animation. I've been trying to draw my own comic book, actually. And I've done 9 pages so far, so hopefully I'll get some more, and maybe put out, I can put it out and you guys can buy it. Yay. Another way to monetize my audience, right? Traditional animation is very, very hard. It's a matter of, like I said, building the audience. I think if you rewind back to the beginning, it's like matching your buyer and your buyers to your supplier. So establishing that audience. And now it's, so you want to focus time on obviously making your animation as good as possible, but you want to spend a lot of more time actually cultivating the audience. And that means trying to find them on the social medias, on Reddit, on everything. I don't know if you do a TikTok channel. Can you do a TikTok channel with animation? Maybe you can make like 5-second TikTok animations. Maybe that would work. I don't know. Like that's the thing. I've done some interview when I did the interview shows a couple times. I did a couple series of the interviews. They were so much work, and no one actually watched them. So again, like I said, buyers and suppliers. I couldn't find any buyers for that show. But the interview show, one thing I discovered, and anytime I talk to anybody that's moderately successful, or at least making a living from filmmaking, and I use filmmaking loosely, everybody's background is completely unique. James Cameron was a truck driver. Steven Spielberg, walked onto the studio. Like Ridley Scott was an art director. Quentin Tarantino was a video store clerk. Everybody's story is unique. Everybody has their own path. It's not like a CPA where you go and you take a test and then you apply for one of the 5 CPA firms, and that's your entry into the world of accounting. Filmmaking, your entry is whatever you can make of it. You have to be creative. And that's one thing I think we got to drive home, is that yes, you need to be as good as you can as creating the product that you're trying to sell, but you also got to spend the time on finding that audience. That's the key. Alrighty. All right, let's go back to next comments here. Yeah, Nolan was definitely a corporate. Oops, that's not the one. Nolan was definitely a corporate videographer. Nolan is the patron saint of corporate videography. Yeah. All right, let's another comment here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Let's go with that one. Paul Bosch says, do you think cultivating a personality brand is essential for filmmakers, like being a low-key neo-celeb on social media? Great. Good question. You're making me think hard, man. Like I said, everybody comes to filmmaking through a different path. Actually, I'll give you an example. It's like if you want to be a certain kind of filmmaker, then you want to develop that personality, like I am kind of developing that, I guess, through my live streams. I'm talking to you guys. I'm trying to create a little of a cult of personality amongst myself. But another example of a guy, I just watched his video. It's this guy you need to follow. If you're following anything on filmmaking, following me, you need to follow him. I'm trying to let me just Google him real quick. The video I was watching was introvert. Like, can you be a director if you're an introvert? And his name, he directed Shazam. You need to find Pony Smasher. I'm sorry, That's actually not the director's name, but Pony Smasher. Let me just look up what's his name. I gotta find it. Pony Smasher. David F. Sandberg. That's it. David F. Sandberg directed Shazam, which I thought was fantastic. So check out Pony Smasher's video. He is not like a cult of personality. He's a self-described introvert. So he talks about that. Do you need to do anything? You don't need to do anything. You find your own path, however you find it. But so yeah, do you need it? No, probably not. Let's see. There's another comment here. There we go. Michael Bay got milk ads. Has always seemed weird to me. He worked for a studio called what was the name of the studio? It was actually David Fincher. Oh, it was called like The Revolution or something like that. What was that? Michael. I'm gonna start looking stuff up on Google. Commercial studio. It was not the Institute. What is the name of that thing? Somebody in chat will throw it up there. But it was this studio where they produced a lot of the great 90s commercials. And they had David Fincher was one of the guys that was working there. I'm trying to remember what the name of the studio is. But anyhow. Yeah, if you guys look it up, you guys can look it up. I won't waste any more time Googling stuff that you guys can look up. How about that? But yeah, no, the 90s a lot of great commercials and a lot of great directors came out of that. A lot of music, a lot of great directors that we know today came out of music videos too. The Asylum, I think that's the name of the studio. Is the name of the studio? Let's see. Wrench Mine says The Asylum. Is that the studio? Asylum. Let's see. Asylum. I don't think that wasn't the one I'm thinking of. It's not that. It's, dang it. Propaganda films. Propaganda, that's the one. Propaganda. Let's take a look. Propaganda. Oh, commercials. Yep, that's the one. Dang it, if you look up propaganda commercials, it comes out and like it shows you actual propaganda. I think it's propaganda films. Was that it? No, dang it. Let me just look at propaganda. Now you guys are getting me into this. Now I'm going to look at. Yeah, Michael Bay, right? Yeah, propaganda. I think it's called propaganda films, propaganda media. Yeah, but they had what? Founders were. Let's see here. David Lynch. Well, let's see. No, David Lynch was. They worked with them on a couple things, but they had. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole list here. I'm trying to pick out some ones I recognize. David Fincher, Michael Gondry, if you remember him from Spotless Suns. Michael Gondry, Eternal Sunshine, yeah. Spike Jonze. David Lynch worked with them. Michael Moore worked with them. Michael Bay. Gore Verbinski, another name. Zack Snyder, another person that worked with that company. So yeah. There we go. Wrenchmind. Yep, that's Wrenchmind goes ahead and comments with the comment there. Oops, not that one. Right. Yeah. Music videos, production company, and so forth. Yeah. Let's see. Let's read some more comments here. Are you guys arguing over? I see you guys are arguing about cell phones for videos and stuff like that. I don't know. Leonard Nimoy directed a video for the Bangles. I did not know that. That'd be cool. All right, let's take a look. Jump over here to this next one. Here's a good question. This is a good one to look at. When did you feel like you were ready to become a professional? I feel like there must be a hump you have got to get over. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. That thing is draggy there. I became a professional. Well, I became professional after working for professionals for about a year. So I spent a year as an intern making commercials for a for a for a cable company, and I spent a year as an intern. Literally, after that year was done, well, that year was done. Oh, I think my phone's going off here. I'll call her back real quick. But I spent a year at actually somebody that I work with still from that cable company that I met with the cable company. That was like 19 years ago. So, but one of the point was, I worked with the professionals until I felt like I was comfortable to making my own. You know, I saw what they were doing and like I can do that, and I started making it. Now, like. So I think part of becoming a professional is also kind of knowing like what's expected of a professional, you know, and also honestly, I have a little different background because I was a business major, so I had the business background. Like when I went to start my own business, I kind of already knew what the legal ramifications were, you know, between like a sole proprietor and a corporation and all that stuff. So I had some of that going. But yeah, how do you know if you're a professional? You have to. I think the best thing to do is to intern. I think the best thing would be, you know, back in the old days, you used to have apprentices, you know, and you would go work for somebody and learn the trade, and then you would start your own trade. So I think that's probably the best way is to get a feel for what other people's doing, and then you'll have a better understanding of what's expected, and then you can become a professional. All right. Oh, goodness gracious. There's another comment that I probably can't even answer. What software would you recommend to connect all spaces in a production company? I have no idea. Like software, like software as in like yeah, I don't know. Like that's an IT question. I don't know. I shouldn't have even answered it. I don't know. Sorry, buddy. Let's go with some more newer comments. Oh, here we go. So Rigel's gonna follow up on the Nimoy thing. The Bengals song is called "Going Down to Liverpool." However, I just found out I'm wrong. He's in it. He didn't direct. Oh well. You guys ever watch the Hobbit? Watch the Hobbit, not the new Hobbit, the old Hobbit music video, and you'll see it's Leonard Nimoy. He's talking. I think he sings the old Hobbit, you know, animated. Bilbo Baggins, craziest little Hobbit in the world. Whatever. I don't know the lyrics. All right, let's go back to some more comments I can read out loud. All right, let's see. Pancake says, "This is cute. Why not? Oh my God, you are so adorable. Thank you. I am adorable. That is definitely that needs to be called out. I'm glad we took the time to bring that to the forefront and recognize the fact that I am adorable." Let's see here. Okay, I was going to put that comment up there. Count for comment says, "Where there is a whip, there's a way." That's for sure. Just remind ourselves of that every single day. All right, we got another comment. I'm waiting for my little cue to show up so I can put. My nose is itching. My nose is starting to itch. That's a bad sign here. Here we go. Any advice for filmmakers entering festivals for the first time? All right, I have a great little video. Not great video. I guess it's a little video on how to enter short film or how to enter film festivals. I would highly recommend you check that out. To recap some of the things I brought up in that video. Basically, if it's your first film festival, I would say save your money on the. Like you could throw in the entry fee for like one or two far away, like, you know, knock them out of the park. You might get lucky, but I would say save your money and don't enter any film festivals that you're not willing to drive to. So, like you can throw it into Sundance. You might have a chance. I'm not going to stop you. Throw it into Tribeca. Okay, you might get lucky. You know, you might get into the big ones. If you want to throw the money at it, go for it. You realize it's a gamble, complete gamble, but don't like throw money into like putting into a film festival like Duluth Film Festival if you don't live anywhere near Duluth and you don't intend to actually travel to Duluth, you know, or you know, it's just unless you're willing to go there, like a small festival doesn't offer you any value whatsoever. Like zero. But if it's your local hometown, hey, or if it's only 50 miles away, or it's only 100 miles, and you're willing to travel there and work the festival and enjoy yourself at it, then it's worth it. Even if you get into it. But definitely don't spend the money on places, because I've talked to a lot of other filmmakers I've been in I've had 2 films in festivals. I've been to like 6 festivals with my films. And every filmmaker I talk to, even if I watch the film and I think it's fantastic, I'm like, man, how many film festivals did you enter? Oh, I must have entered 20 or 25. How many did you get into? 4. It's always somewhere between like 10% and 30%. It's like that's how lucky. Well, actually more like 10%. I think 30% is on the high end. But most films, and I'm talking about films that don't have a celebrity in them. If you have a celebrity in them, you have a much better chance at getting into a film festival, because the film festival is like, hey, they've got a movie with celebrity in it. Well, we can actually sell tickets to that. This is all obviously before the pandemic. I don't know what's going to happen after the pandemic when it comes to film festivals. Jeez. All right, let's put this comment up there, because it's kind of related to the topic of the day. Rustin L. or Autumn, can you give your thoughts on self-distribution platforms, marketing specifically? Thanks. I think we're going back to the top of the show. We talk about matching your buyers and your suppliers. So there is no platform, I think, that YouTube is kind of wonderful in that it does help creators meet their audience, in the fact that we have subscribers and some alerts and stuff like that. Could it be better? We all want it to be better. We all want to be better matched. We all want YouTube to feed our videos to you subscribers in lieu of every other person that they subscribe to. We all want that, right? But any platform itself, like I've got 2 t-shirt companies. I got Spreadshirt and I got Teespring. And because Teespring is attached to YouTube, I can actually use it. I can actually advertise on YouTube to buy shirts, and people can buy shirts that way. Spreadshirt, the quality is the same essentially, but there's no way I could possibly, it's not connected to YouTube, so it's not as useful to me. So anyhow, Super Cartoonist is sending me a super chat. Let's put it back up. That's your second one for the day, man. Oh man. I am an artist, editor, and longtime beginner animator. Let me know if you would like my help. I would love to show you my best work. Cool. Yeah, send me an email. You can probably figure out my email if you haven't figured it out. You guys all know what my email is. Just filmmakeriq.com. Put John in front of it. John at, right? Medlock says, where are you at? Where are you from? I am from Earth, located the 3rd planet orbiting the sun Sol, in the galaxy Milky Way. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So this is a comment that I get a lot of. It's like, I'd like to know if there's a network for small independent documentaries. If you don't know, then there isn't. That's kind of like the one thing that I really want. Is the weirdest thing that always befuddled me. And we'll relate this back to frame rate. Somebody was asking on Reddit, what frame rate should I shoot my cooking show on? And you got a lot of comments. And some of the ones that always irk me is like YouTube. Oh, everyone puts everything on YouTube is 60 frames a second. No, it's not. But anyhow, so a lot of people are saying 60 frames. A lot of people are saying 24 frames. And I'm obviously in the camp. I would say 24. Depends on the type of cooking show. But I would say 24. And the thing that people didn't the thing that like bothers me is like, why don't you just look? Why don't you look at other cooking shows? Like market research, dude. Like market research is the hardest thing. So I'm not picking on you. I don't think I'm picking on you. Is there a network for small independent documentaries? Well, is there? Have you looked? If you have looked and you haven't found one, then there isn't one. Because I don't think small independent documentaries are. I mean, how many small independent documentaries do you watch a day? Like, I guess, honestly, I guess I do watch a lot. They're called YouTube videos. I watch a lot of, I'll watch YouTube. I'll watch, one that I really enjoy is called Defunct Land. So, what I don't like about, the one thing that bothers me about YouTube is when YouTubers try to be big Hollywood television. So I don't like YouTubers that, I don't like it when YouTubers make seasons. It's like, dude, it's not television. You don't need a season. I kind of get it for like organizational purposes, but it's like, it bothers me. So I don't like the season part of it, but I really do enjoy like the videos that Defunctland puts out. So those are independent documentaries. So I guess that's YouTube. I watch a lot of, science stuff. I watch a lot of physics and math stuff. So Greg said, I'm not going to put Greg asking Reddit is part of research. No, what I mean research, when I say research, I mean, do primary research. It's like asking Reddit is secondary research. Do the primary research. Go to the source. So you want to know what frame rate you should shoot cooking shows at. What's your favorite cooking show? Watch that show, and then what frame rate do they shoot on? And you'll find actually a lot of cooking shows are shot at 24 frames a second. You really will. It's scary. It's scary how much you'll see. Oh, here's a great question. I love this question. Okay, count for comment. You are just asking a bunch of good stuff, so I'm going to put you on mine. In your experience, how much of a shooting phase will end up with minimal post-production? Which one is hired if you can choose those? Let me read the rest of that over here. Those with more knowledge of camera equipment or software and editing. How much of a shooting phase will end up with minimal? Now you're throwing me off a little bit with that question. I thought you were asking me how to shoot with the least amount of post-production. That's the question I was going for. I thought you were asking was how do we cut down how much time we spend in post? And the answer to how much, well, I'll answer that part. Be organized in how you shoot and be mindful of how you shoot when you're editing, or how you edit when you shoot. So like if you're going out and shoot, if I task you to go out and shoot this, some subject matter, like shoot B-roll, but shoot B-roll with like be consistent and precise with your B-roll. Like don't just shoot stuff for no reason. Like look for something that's interesting and shoot it, and then move on. Don't just like sit there for like an hour just rolling on stuff that doesn't matter. Now, like, because I do a lot of like B-roll stuff for a project for like a city that'll be like a year-long project. So I'll go out and shoot B-roll of this and this and that. But like when I shoot B-roll, I'll be very mindful. I'm going to try to use this B-roll, and I do spend time. I'd spend time trying to find the good angles and stuff like that. But I won't like sit there forever. And is the streams lagging? I think it's partly because my computer. I should have started rendering this thing while this is going. What the heck? I'll stop it. I'll stop the render. So maybe that will take some of the load off the machine here. All right, let's go back. Some more questions. Let's go back over here. Nick Ruiz comments on we're talking about documentaries. I watch a lot of documentaries on YouTube. It really helps when you have a premium subscription. Yeah, I went ahead and went ahead and got the premium YouTube Prime or whatever, YouTube Plus. What do they call it? I don't know. The YouTube Plus or whatever nonsense. Oh, okay. Here's a good question or comment. If you like cooking shows, check out Oh Cook with James May. He gives out a lot of behind the scenes stuff while he's doing his thing. Yeah, James, is that James May from what's the cooking show, the car show? Can't think of the name. Top Gear. Is that Top Gear guy? James May? No, hopefully it is. Okay, let's go with here. This is a good question. What is a good starter pack for a wannabe filmmaker that has a main job? Starter pack. I would say, again, this is a situation where if you want to use your phone, that's perfectly acceptable. I think like literally any DSLR that shoots video is just fine to start if you want to do like a cinematography style filmmaking. T5, TI, Canon TI, whatever the older ones. Again, you don't need the latest and greatest. You can use an older camera. The 5D Mark II. You could probably still polish that off and still use it. I have it around here somewhere. That's probably good enough. If you're just starting, it doesn't matter. Just start. Like the other package, part of the package would be like some sort of way to record sound. So, my buddy just bought he's just here, an 83-year-old man. He's adorable. I love him. I brought him on a set, and I had him play a guy. Like, the scene was actually supposed to be a porno set, but it was completely G-rated, right? Because the girl was like, she had like a low-cut top, and it's like his job was to go up to the and it's like, "Ma'am, you're ready. We're ready for your scene." He's like, it was like his big moment. He loved it. He talks about it to this day. But yeah, he got himself a Tascam little audio recorder because he plays trumpet like me, and he likes to record bands. And I was like, well, I'll get a little Tascam recorder. You just put it on a stand and record. So, some sort of audio recording capability. If you want to send the audio into the camera, that's cool too. But yeah, so between those two things, good start. And then realize it is a never-ending case of just spending money. That's really what filmmaking is. It's just never-ending excuse to spend money. Wrenchmind says, I have a ton of video that I have to cut it to death. Yeah, I mean, it takes experience, man. It's just a matter of figuring out, like, look, you're going to shoot a bunch of stuff and you're not going to use a lot of it. That's fine, too. It's better to shoot too much and then throw it away rather than not have that one shot. Like, I just needed that one shot and I didn't get it. So, it's okay. Oh, yeah, it is Grand Tour, yeah. Okay, so let's see. There we go. We'll put that one up there. Rode Wireless for the go low cost, easy to use mic setup. Yeah, Rode Wireless. I've not personally had experience with them. I'm thinking about it. Although I have a Sennheiser. I have two. I have a newer Sennheiser and a very, very old Sennheiser wireless. Generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of wireless, but I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with wireless technology now that I learned. Part of it's also learning more about it. One thing I should probably do a video on this because, like, I always thought wireless is wireless. You just turn it on. But really what you got to do is if you're starting to experience a lot of, like, interference, you got to change the damn channel, John. Don't sit on a channel because it's going to, just because you think, well, it's just a channel. So anyhow, let's jump back to some older comments here. Let's pick it up here. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, these are going back. I'm going back into your older comments. Let's see. People get good. Oh, there's a comment here. Jump to that. Is it possible to check out some of your documentary work somewhere? You can see my work on on this channel. There's a lot of documentaries I make on this channel for this channel, and you can see I have a company called CIMediagroup.biz. If you go there, you can see some of my demo reels, some of my older stuff. It's not totally up to date. I just worked on a Discovery Channel show, but I didn't actually shoot it. I did some graphic work, so I helped with some graphics. That's aired on Sunday. Cal Fire, which follows the firefighters in California, has dealt with the wildfires. So check that out on Discovery. Funny thing is, I just canceled my cable at home because it pissed me off so much. I was paying like $200 a month for cable internet, and I'm like, I'm not home to watch cable internet. My mom watches it, but she doesn't watch that much television anyway. She just watches a Chinese channel, and I'm like, I'm not paying $200, and it's like $120 for nothing a month. And I was like, well, I called the cable company and I said, hey, you have a basic package, like a really simple package? Like, yeah, it's like $70 a month. Like, no. What's really okay? So now I'm gonna go on a rant here about the cable company. I was a defender of the cable for a long time. I was a user of cable for a long time, but like, isn't it much of a slap in the face? I am a long-term customer of yours, cable company. I've been with you for years and years and years, and giving you money religiously for years and years and years, and you're advertising like $69 a month if you bundle cable internet together. Oh, it's for new customers only. I'm a freaking long-term customer. You should give me give me a break. Dude, give me that rate for the new term customer. Why are you slap? It's like a slap. Every time I go to your site and I look at the new packages, it's a slap in the face to your old customers. Oh, you new customer, you get it for the ridiculously low amount of money. And you're obviously making money on that. So and then like I told I don't want to pay $120 a month for a cable. Well, the cheapest thing we got is $80 a month. But you're giving new customers freaking bundled internet, cable, and internet for like a third of the price. It's like, so I said, screw you guys, cancel my cable right now. Like, cancel it. And they're like, well, sir, you just paid for January. We don't prorate it. I'm like, fine, whatever. I don't care. I'll just pay it. I'm done. And so they canceled my cable, and I thought like every service out there, when you cancel something, you get the remainder of what you paid for, right? That's not the cable company. You cancel the cable company, they cancel your internet. They cancel your cable service like that, right? So I thought I was gonna have the rest of the month to figure out how I was gonna wire up these Amazon Fire TVs. Nope, they canceled it immediately. Ugh. Anyhow, I hate cable, the cable company. And I worked for the cable company for a while. So anyhow. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get some more comments in here. There we go. So here's an example of a comment that I get a lot. In your years of filmmaking, have you found any foreign distributors who are interested in helping filmmakers in our situation? No! Quit asking! I'm sorry to pick on you, Mavox. But this is the mentality that I spent like the first part of this stream like trying to defeat. It's this idea, this notion that there is somebody out there who's going to help you, who's going to ride in on a white horse and say, I am here to help the independent filmmaker, the filmmaker that has no voice. No, it doesn't exist, dude. You make money by making value and in finding matching the buyer to your supplier. So there is no foreign distributor interested in helping filmmakers. And no. Why would they be interested in helping you? If you can't make them money, then they're not going to be interested in helping you. That's just the reality. So you've got to go out. You actually got to like go and create your own. You got to find your own buyers, or you have to have some. You have to be able to show to a potential buyer that you can bring a lot of eyeballs, bring a lot of audience, and that's how you can get yourself in a situation. So, oh yeah, okay. So Wrenchmind just said, I'll go ahead and make my confession. Yeah, I really struggle not to spend money on new stuff for filmmaking. I was trying to not spend money because I spent a lot of money last year trying to wreck out my set and build up my set and doing all this stuff. I spent a lot of money because what did I do New Year's Eve was actually I spent New Year's Eve, or the first few hours of 2021 I spent balancing my books. Like going through and like making sure my books were all in order for 2020. Kind of because I also know that this year I'm gonna be paying the IRS some serious money. So I had a financially pretty successful 2020, and I was trying to like cut down how much I owed by spending more money, more expenses. But I recently went ahead and I bought Isotope RX8 Advanced. I'm like, I need it. I need to. And then that way I can clean up my audio. So from now on, you're going to hear some super clean audio from Filmmaker IQ. I swear to God, that money was used for good, not evil. So yeah. That's my first big purchase of 2021. I did buy it on PayPal credits. I have 6 months to pay it off, which was good because that way I'm not taking a big chunk out of right now. I can just spread the costs over some period of time. All right. Let's go. Super Cartoonist commenting. Now we're going to talk about frame rate and all that jazz. It's a lot of hard work transferring NTSC video to progressive. I just wish other people understand it's not as simple as, I'm back up here, as it seems. It is. Yeah, it is. And I think somebody was showing me, was it you or somebody else was showing me an example? Someone did a 60i conversion of an old like cheesy 90s like hip video back in the day, like late 90s, early 2000s. You would watch these videos produced by, they were well produced videos, but they're like half of the 90s videos were like shot at Dutch angles. Like really high quality, and it was a laser disc scan, and you look at it and like, wow, this is really like this brings me back to the time. And the thing you don't remember about NTSC video was like it was really clean. That's the other thing. My mom was watching this one like METV, which is Me TV, which they showed a bunch of old stuff, and I was watching very old episode of Dick Van Dyke Show, and I was surprised how good the master looked. It looked like it was super clean, and it was beautiful. It was a 60i program, and you know, so it had that motion of a video, that live video look. So it looked really good. Let's see, cable. Let's see. There's a comment. Cable and internet are pretty rough in the U.S. It would be cool if the FTC did anything. I think cable is done, man. Like if they want to keep playing these games, and cable's constantly rated as the worst company as far as customer service. Like Time Warner is like number one. I think Spectrum. I think the reason why they changed the name to Spectrum was because I think they were Time Warner, right? Is because they were the worst company like in the ratings. So let's just change their name. Well, now Spectrum's gonna be the worst. It's absolutely horrible. So here's an interesting thing I want to talk a little bit about. In documentary, the grant system is probably the closest thing to helping filmmakers like us. Yeah, we're talking about like grants and stuff like that. Sure, you know, I mean, I'm sure there's grants out there for filmmakers, and you can go research them. I've not sought them out, you know. We talk about, okay, so my old partner had this discussion about like national arts and like national arts councils and stuff like that. And in the United States, we do not have any kind of national. I mean, there is like the National Endowment of the Arts, so there are like funding organizations. We don't have necessarily a lottery, like let's say some sort of like we don't have a national media thing, and that in the U.S. is a good thing. We don't want that. Like other countries, they have like there are national media or national film councils that do fund things, but I don't know. It's hard for me to put my words around this. But as far as the U.S. is concerned, is we don't necessarily need Hollywood is so powerful that there is no national interest as far as like promoting a particular kind of films in the United States. The market exists already. The market is so incredibly dominant. So other countries, you know, they in their national interest, they want to cultivate certain things. They don't want to be taken over by Hollywood. So that says the United States doesn't have a national certain kind of endowment fund for that reason, right? And the other thing is, like, it's not hard to make. If you wanted to make a film, you don't need that much money to do it. You can do it. So I don't necessarily see like why you. My phone's going crazy. Why you even need a fund? I guess, you know. But the other thing you remember, like anytime you get money from somebody else, there's always strings attached. Always. Like no one ever gets money that's scot-free. Okay, like, well, there's the MacArthur Genius Grant, that's scot-free. Yeah, but how did you get that money? You have to be a MacArthur Genius Award, right? You know? So if you're getting money from an endowment art, you're paying, you know, there's certain things you have to do to get that money. So I guess I'm trying to fight against this idea that you should not be expecting the white horse on the cavalry to come save your butt. To basically do, you can't expect other people to support your dream. You have to go out and do your own dream. Like you can't expect the national grant money to come and make everything better, and then you get to have your way as a filmmaker. That doesn't exist. And stop thinking it's going to exist, because it doesn't. It does, and it's not. Believe me, like some people might think that working for a studio might be the most awesome thing there is as far as a filmmaker goes. but it also may be the worst, because then you've got like 10,000 people staring over your shoulder. Like I've kind of experienced that working with the Discovery Channel for a little bit, like I know I was removed from the chaos that was going on, but I saw, like, it wasn't like, oh, we're making a TV show, here you go, network, pay us. No, it's like the network is like, we don't know if we like this, we don't know if we like that, can you make this little thing, can you do this? And it's like, and then I was there, hearing like people arguing over stuff. And it's like, every time you get money from somebody else, you're going to have strings attached. You're going to have to do what they want you to do. So, do you want to trade that freedom for that kind of control? Or do you want to trade money for freedom? Because that's essentially what you're doing. Like I wonder, I bet you like Red Letter Media, I like to pick on them because they're like my heroes as far as like YouTube and what they can do. Red Letter Media could probably make a movie, could probably talk to a studio and make something, but do they want that? Are they going to give up everything that they've worked for, all the freedom they've gotten accustomed to doing? Now my nose is itching. So I don't think so. That's the question you have to ask yourself. Like I wonder too, like, we talked about Wonder Woman 84 last time we were hanging out, and should Patty Jenkins get all the credit for and all the blame for that movie? Because I know a lot of people dislike the movie. I found it okay. I didn't hate it, but like, all these decisions are being made. I don't think Patty Jenkins was necessarily the one person involved with. There's a million other people telling her what to do on that movie. Like, how much of even her, like, people say, like, I was watching the Onion review, and the comment that kind of struck me funny was the touches that Patty Jenkins applied, the directorial touches. How many are her styling? Like, the camera angles. Does she decide the camera angles? She might have some control, or she might say, well, move it over here a little bit, move the camera over a little bit. But a lot of VFX effects, a lot of those VFX shots, were they designed by her? I don't know. I honestly, I highly doubt, because I highly doubt it, because you've seen all these superhero movies, they start to all kind of look alike. So I'm wondering if the director really is choosing the shots. Maybe the director is saying, I want it like this, and they'll veto something they don't like. But I think a lot of the stuff is designed by the VFX house. Like, I don't know if it's that big of a thing. Michael Scott says, should have bought Bitcoin when I told you. Should have bought Bitcoin. I had a friend who was like saying, is there a way to short Bitcoin? I'm not a big fan of cryptocurrency. I don't like it. But then again, I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. That's why I'm not making as much money as I should be making, right? Count for Comment says, the movie I want to make are historic epics, the kind you see in the 60s and 70s. Bad luck for me. Yeah, I want, historic epics are... I'm trying to think of what historic epics... where you can, you have to obviously have to some studio money to make that stuff. You just gotta find yourself a really rich guy who wants to spend some money. That's what my old partner used to say. Like, when he would sell things, sell rich people on funding movies. Is sometimes you don't look necessarily at movies as you don't look at a movie as a product that makes money. In fact, it's an extremely high risk venture. If it makes money, great. You can make it. Potential upside potential is humongous for filmmaking, right? But most time you're going to lose the money. And the way to look at it is, you're going to lose the money, but heck, you got a great experience. You got to go to a premiere, you got to hang out with the stars, you got to do all this cool stuff, right? That's kind of a way to look at how to fund filmmaking. I think Walt Disney said it best. He said, we don't make money. We don't make movies to make money. We make movies to make movies to make money to make more movies. Something like that. I'm screwing up. There's a couple comments here. I'll just throw my mind off here. Core Digital put out a great video. Might have been a podcast recently. The experience is trying to create using the Hollywood system. I have to read the rest of it over here. Where are you? trying to create. Oh, they're using the Hollywood system, and they decide to basically do it their own way. Yeah, I think Corridor Digital is probably an example. Tell you they'll kind of show you that, like, yeah, the big old studio system has their own particular way of doing things, and I don't know. Like, the more you see of it, the more you're like wondering if it's worth it to deal with them, or you can make your own stuff. Spectre asks, looking to change my career, is it reasonable to get into filmmaking at 50? Like, I don't think your age is necessarily the problem. The problem is going to be more your connections. Like, if you're changing career and you have if you have connections that you can actually support yourself by making videos with for people that you know, or companies that you already have a relationship with, that might be a good. I mean, going into video making and producing commercials, that kind of stuff for companies that you have your network would actually get you a foot in the door, really. But as far as like filmmaking, like if you want to, like, filmmaking as in like making movies, like, it's hard to say. I'm not saying your age necessarily your age is the issue. It's more like what's your responsibilities? What are your obligations? Do you have a mortgage to pay? Do you have kids to support? Do you have spouse to support? And it's like, filmmaking is one of those things that takes a lot of time to actually, before you actually start making money on it. Meryl Rosner, let's put a comment of yours up there. Zhubcharnka Shek animator was government funded. Ultimately his most acclaimed 1965 The Hand, which is a giant hand came down and a hardworking artist. The government banned his film. The government banned the film. Yeah, so example there. You state funded doesn't mean this money doesn't have strings attached. Nick Ruiz says, my brother showed me that Tommy Wiseau movie, The Room. It shows that anyone can make a movie, even if it's not that good. Exactly. Anybody can make a movie. Even Hollywood can make a movie, and they're not good. Tommy Wiseau, no one knows where he got his money from. That's the problem with his. And as far as The Room is concerned, like, The Room is not as bad as people make it out to be. It's bad. It's not that bad. Count for Comment says, this is my plan for now. Making a living is more of a priority. My previous boss made money as a tour agency, and now he became the director of the studio. Oh, cool. I'm not sure what you're... Oh, the comment before. Let's go to this one. Marvin Zangara says, my short film took a big toll on my finances. I'm working on a second one, but it's really moving slow, trying to make sure I don't go overboard again. It's very easy to go overboard. It's so easy to go overboard. Paul Bosch mocks my comment. Even Hollywood can make a movie. Dude, yes, LOL. Yeah, even Hollywood can make a movie. Come on. Those idiots in Hollywood? Like, yeah, of course. I mean, a movie doesn't have to be good. The thing about The Room that's surprising is at least it's shot well. At least you can hear what it's saying. At least it's actually audible. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. Tommy Wiseau says, the Room guy made his money with imports. The crew claims he sells drugs. I don't know what I mean, some kind of import, right? Who knows? So, anyhow. So, yeah, I've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes or so. But, yeah, let's see. I've been watching The Expanse. So, the latest episode was today's Wednesday. Another Expanse episode tonight. So, I get to watch that tonight. What else? I watched V is for Vendetta. So I haven't seen that film. I never saw that film, and I finally watched it. I thought it was pretty darn good. I was really, really captivated. It raises some interesting things, especially today, because we had some weirdness going on in Washington D.C. today. But I'm thinking, like, watching the Washington D.C. stuff and thinking about the V for Vendetta. Not as black and white as people want you to think it is, So I thought I saw that. That was really interesting. I think to say V for Vendetta had a very clear message. I think it's to undercut the message that the movie, at least the comic book, what I've read about what Alan Moore was trying to say with his comic book. It's much less black and white than anarchy good, fascism bad, right? It's a lot more gray than what some people want to paint it as. So I really enjoyed the V for Vendetta. I thought that it was made in such a way that kind of sucked me in. Very reminiscent of 1984. Like you see a lot of 1984 references. John Hurt being one of them, I think, is a good. So anyhow, I thought that was really good. And The Expanse is definitely, if you haven't watched The Expanse, it is fantastic, fantastic. All right. How do you stay productive? The good question, Hami. Right now, I am on a system of spending a little time on a lot of things, but being religious about spending a little time. Because what I find is the most destructive is when I have this project, this documentary I've been working on for like a year now. It's sad because look at the footage and I'm like, this is shot in 2019. Some of it's shot in 2018. But I've been working on this documentary for this company, this lady who was the wife of one of the co-founders of Whammo. And we met through her through several different things, organizations working for a nonprofit, and they wanted to create like a documentary about their company and their life in the company. So I've been working on that, but the problem, like during this pandemic stuff, I threw me in depression. Like I didn't want to work on anything, and it just killed. And then finally coming out of it, but part of my way of coming back to it is to just say, I'm going to spend a couple hours a day working on that. I'm going to spend a couple hours a day, and I've been doing it. And I finally got to the point right now where I've got a rough cut. It's not a rough. It's before even a rough cut. It's like the bones are in place. I got to put some flesh on these bones, but at least I'm moving there. I'm moving there. So that's part of the way of staying productive is to put a little time into everything. Don't build up a project in your head so it gets too big. If it gets too big and you don't ever do it, then that's not like. Just make one step at a time, little bit. Keep biting off little chunks of it, and you'll actually get through it. My nose is starting to itch. That means it's time. It's getting that time. It's getting to be that time. Follow up here. Robert says, "Do you have to go to L.A.?" No. L.A. is a shithole. Sorry. I was doing a VR. I was doing some VR exercise this morning. And they had a song like I think it was Panic at the Disco, and the song was like L.A. Addict. And I thought L.A. is a shithole. I hate L.A. Like there's really no good place. I mean, if you want to live in L.A., the best place to live in L.A. obviously is like Santa Monica, or anywhere, Beverly Hills or Hollywood Hills, Los Feliz. Like those places are, Pasadena. Those are good places to live. They're also expensive AF, dude. They're super expensive. And then you can live in a slummy part of LA, which is basically everywhere else. And then you're dealing with traffic like constantly all the time. And it's just an ugly city. It sucks. I hate LA. Like there's parts of LA I like. I enjoy parts of LA, but like generally I just hate LA. I absolutely hate LA. Do I have to? You want to go out there for? You have to go out there? No. I mean, if you want to work in movies, yeah, you have to work out. You have to go out there. But there's other stuff that's worth going to. Marvin asks, are people leaving LA? I think people are, and generally, I think people are just getting sick of LA because it's depressing, dude. It's a horrible place. It really is. Oh, and if you go down some streets, holy moly, I'm telling you, if you guys think that, you guys think the homeless problem is some sort of exaggeration, it is not. There are some streets in LA you drive down, literally, a block away from downtown LA. Some streets are like war zones, just disgusting. Like, trash cans are overflowing. There's human garbage, human feces on the ground. I mean, tents. I mean, it's sad. It's really, really, really bad. It's not being exaggerated how bad it is, the homeless situation. It really is. So, I know you guys tuned to me for hard hitting political commentary, about homeless people in LA. That's not what I do. I try to avoid that. Hami says, when I'm making a film, sometimes I feel wrong about the frame. I don't know how to frame. I mean, how to frame it, but I feel, gotta read this. I feel like it'd be better. Any recommendations on how to do it better? Take your time. Take your time and just work it. You know, like as far as the framing, I get that too. Like your framing is like, why is this framing not so good? Take your time with it. Try a different angle. You know, one of the things I've discovered that I tend to gravitate toward is the idea that you want to shoot from a lower angle. Like I used to work with some director or some shooters when we do commercials would always shoot from like standing height, right? Like everything was shot from like 5.5 feet standing height. And I tend to shoot stuff from like belly button level because I kind of like look at the world more from a child's perspective. So things look a bit bigger if you're shooting from like belly button height. And it depends obviously what you're shooting, but like if I'm shooting like a shot of something, I'll tend to shoot from lower, like a shot of a landscape. I'll tend to shoot from lower angle rather than higher angle. So experiment with different angles too. Like, you know, try to find like, you know, try to move your head. I know there's the cliche of doing this, but that's not, you know, that helps. That's a director's viewfinder. That's exactly what it is. Just with your hands. That's all. All right. Bill Horsecorder says the new place to make films is Buffalo, New York. All right, sure. Georgia's a big place too. A lot of productions are moving to a lot of different cities. The problem is they're all chasing tax breaks. You know, like literally everybody, all these states are, you know, giving you like free tax-free work, whatever. So everybody's doing tax breaks. So it's like whatever state has the latest tax break becomes the next big place. And then so they invite all this business to their state, and then they realize, oh, we're not making any money because there's no taxes. So we're getting all this work, but they're not paying taxes. So we need to raise our taxes. So the next state comes around and says, oh, we got tax shelter here. And so the production picks up and goes to that tax shelter. So it's like, you know, it's a never-ending cycle. No one can hold on to production because it's all based on taxes. So, yeah, let's see. Here we go. You guys are... I think your best video is the one is how to director stages and blocks the scene. What do you think is your best? What do you think your best video is? That's one of my favorite ones because it was really enjoyable to do. I don't really have a favorite. Like my favorite ones are always the last one I just did. That's my best video. I really like the Fox video. That one did really well. Or that one, I really enjoyed it. I don't think it didn't do well at all. Not to blame everything, but it didn't do very well. And then the author of the book that I used for my research got pissed off because I was using her book as for research. So she filed a copyright claim on Patreon, try to get my taken off Patreon, but I fought back and nothing happened from it. But yeah, no, you can take information from a book. That's not a violation of copyright. So I think I talked about it a long time ago. Yeah. Ooh, Spain is a good place to make your indie movie. Cool. Operation Baboon says he's going to Spain. Sweet. Here we go. Marvin says, animation versus filming. What do you think costs more? Probably animation. Although nowadays with the CGI, everything's basically animation and animate and film. Antonio says, might talk about it before, so give me. I don't have time to watch it. Okay, I gotta read the rest of the comment here. Over here. I don't know what you said. Am I writing screenplays? If so, are you planning to get them made? I'm not working on any screenplays right now. I've had enough time to really write screenplays. I've got other projects. I'm doing Filmmaker IQ, kind of keeps me busy. I got this comic book that I want to try to put out, so I'm kind of going with that. So yeah, I haven't done any screenplays. How long do you think a good... That's a good one. How long do you think a good first short film should be? I think your first short film should... Oh, let's see. I would say your very, very first short film should be like no more than 5 minutes. There's your answer. The first serious short film you're going to make, probably 20 minutes. 20 minutes, I wouldn't make them any more than 20 minutes. So I would, but 5 minutes is a good place to start. If you can make a 5 minute short, that's a good place to start. I look at filmmaking as a process, as a complete, as a series of work. Or I don't look at it as you make a film and you're done. You have to you make a film. It's only the beginning, dude. You're making another film, So if I say first film should be 5 minutes, that doesn't mean you're going to stop making films. That means your first goal should be about 5 minutes. I think that's good enough time to produce something. Operation Matt Boon's invited me to Spain. Alrighty, I'm about to consider that. All right, guys. Well, I'm getting a little bit tired. I've been working on my studio. I'm going to rebuild my studio, and got some cool things, but it's going to take a little time. Because like I said, I'm only one person. It is the pandemic, and no one wants to no one wants to come work with me. No, I haven't asked anybody to, because I don't want to force anybody to come out here on my behalf. But I am out there chipping away at the studio, trying to get a little better. So hopefully, maybe February, I'll have it ready to go, and I'll produce actually a video out there with it. But yeah. So anyhow. So with that, I'll check out Power Madsen's. Check out The Gunfighter by Eric Kasich. It's good. It's great on YouTube. I'll have to take a look at that. So we'll try to hang out like I'll try to hang out like once a week. I think on Wednesdays would be good for me. So we will see you guys on the next one. Maybe I'll talk about if you've got some topics you want to talk about, send them in the comments in the future in this video. But I want to think I was talking about math. I think I might talk about math. We'll get some math going. Alrighty, guys. We will see you guys later. Take care now. Bye-bye.